Hi guys, we're here at Gamescom 2025 and we found ourselves in the Revo Sim booth, but also with Rennsport, because we have an Xbox version, you've got a PlayStation version, and you also have a PC version.
Yep.
So we're going to go from one to the other and see what the differences are like. What has changed though in Rennsport since people have last played it?
I think the biggest thing that might have changed is that we've done a lot of optimization to get it ready to run on a console as good as possible. So everything is a bit smoother than it used to be, starting to feel more polished in general. Also, that means the performance on PC is also getting better with that optimization for console.
And what's been like the sort of the hardest challenge in that optimization, would you say?
I think if you look at what other titles do on console, it's hard to really get the same sort of physics from the PC side to a console side. That's usually the biggest challenge, because the physics engine that we run is so intense on everything else, so it eats a lot of the resources from a console. What we managed to do with the optimization that we did to every car that we have is that we can run the exact same simulation as on PC on console also. And that took a lot of effort, but we got there.
So I think Rennsport might be one of the, if not the first cross-platform simulators where it's literally exactly the same physics. Obviously, you've had like ACC and there's some other titles that have come out on console and PC, but this is cross-platform and cross-play, so all the players will be able to play against each other together. Yep. So it all has to match up and line up exactly right. Before I jump on, what content has changed? Is there any new like cars, any new tracks?
Yeah, so in the build we have here today, we have the Ford Mustang GT3, my personal favorite GT3 car. And we have the new Porsche 992 Evo, the 2026 car that Porsche introduced recently that will race from next season on. Okay. So those two, and then we have Spa-Francorchamps is the track today.
So let's jump on and give it a go. We're starting. What's this one? This is the Xbox.
This is the Xbox. Runs on a Xbox Series X.
I say, guys, I'm obviously more on the PC side of things, so I've got a bit of a bias towards PCs. But I think for me, this is a big thing with a lot of these games and the Sims coming out on console. I think it's really important for sim racing to branch out, and you know the console is what people start with, so being able to play a game on the console that's the same game means that someone can more easily ruin their life with the PC simulator and the old sim rig stuff at a later date. Although we're in a sim rig here on the console, so you can do the sim rig stuff as well. Should we get started here? Start driving?
Yeah, let's return you to pit and start from the.
So nice is when all the buttons and stuff all like line up to control the screen nice and simply.
Yep.
Which is one of the things with the console support. We're saying as well, well, we'll drive and we'll continue talking. So we'll just do a little bit of an outlap. I won't do a full thing here. Put a bit of headphones on. I'm going to talk really loud now because of the.
So now we're in the Ford Mustang GT3.
Okay. So, also worth noting is we're using the Revo Sim hardware here as I drive into the wall, and so the Revo Sim hardware is on the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the PC. Though you would have to, if you're on the PlayStation, you'd have to make sure you buy the PlayStation compatible Revo Sim base. If you're on the Xbox, you have to make sure you buy the Xbox compatible base, and then I think all the Revo Sim wheels work on. They all work on PC. I think, because they just plug into USB. That's how amazing PCs are. So this thing is actually running really nice and smooth. I imagine. Have you got? Are you using? Has it got VSync on it or something? Some sort of frame lock on it to make it smooth, or?
Yeah, it uses the built-in things that they used in the Xbox, and it's locked to a 60 frames per second.
Okay. And then this has, does it use some forms of sort of interpolation that the Xbox has, like maybe like some kind of DLSS or something? Or
I need to pass on this question.
Okay. But yeah, I think the grass might need mowing a little bit, although I like that. I like the lush grass, but it's quite tall, but 8 out of 10 for the grass. There's going to be a battle here between Rennsport and Project Motor Racing when it comes to who has the best grass. But yeah, this is actually really nice and smooth. And from my past experience of driving Rennsport on PC, this is actually really quite a comparable driving experience on the games console. Before we move on to the PlayStation, what in terms of like performance, if you've got like a full grid of cars, because at the moment this just has one car, will you be aiming again for the sort of 60 FPS with whatever, how many cars you have?
So the aim is to have it lock 60 in the, like, it doesn't matter if you drive by yourself or with other people. And on the Xbox Series X, it's also upscaled 4K 60. Same with the PlayStation 5, and then the PlayStation 5 Pro has a native 4K 60.
Nice. So yeah, that's totally drivable. We're not really using the H pattern here. We're just using the flappy paddles. We've got a handbrake. Not sure where you'd use a handbrake in a GT3 car. Maybe for some pro moves. But let's move over now to the PlayStation version. Okay. I thought it was a Mustang on that one.
Yeah.
I thought it had quite nice. It's really progressive. I think Rennsport is quite a forgiving sim to drive. Like it doesn't just. It's not a sim that just bings you if you brake too hard.
Yeah.
You know, which I think that's how it should be. Really.
We tuned the GT3s to be very approachable cars in general. And I think we hit a pretty good sweet spot where you can still be on the limit and be very quick, but it's also forgiving, as you say.
And are these all the same Revo Sim base? They're not different wheelbases?
Yes, so the difference is here that today the PlayStation runs a bit of a different SDK than the Xbox, so there might be some differences in how it feels just from that SDK output.
Get through here. The Porsche's a lot more rotating. The Mustang was like super stable, quite boaty to handle. Whereas the Porsche, you know, once you come off the throttle, it wants to rotate more. You can feel it actually through the force feedback, giving you a quick load up to let you know that it's doing the typical Porsche thing of turning in and the lift off oversteer. I have to say, I'm more of a Porsche fan. How about you?
So, like I said before, the Ford Mustang GT3 is my current favorite GT3 car that races today, because I think it just looks mean.
Can't all have good taste though, can we? So. But yeah, hang on, aren't you German?
No.
Oh, you're Swedish. I'm sorry, I forgot.
So I don't have any Swedish brand to attach to.
Okay. Maybe some rally stage somewhere.
Some old Volvo 240 maybe.
Yeah. That's what they need to put in Rennsport. You need to the Volvo estate from the BTCC.
Exactly.
There you go, Volvo estate, guys, confirmed for Rennsport. I do actually think that Rennsport could really do with some like a Radical SR3 or like a Caterham, more like track day cars, because I'm sure you'll agree with me.
Yeah.
GT3 cars they're not the most exciting. He has to remain mostly neutral as the developer.
We do love GT3 cars, but we're currently working on, for the first set of DLC packs after release, we have some classic touring cars and some classic endurance cars in the making.
Yeah, awesome. That'd be cool. I think classic cars, they're just more fun to drive, more entertaining and better for just close racing and door banging. So just some things to note as well with the console version for viewers that maybe can't see the screen that clearly. You can see, obviously, with the console that they've had to reduce the draw distance of the grass and some of the upscaling of the graphics. But the key thing is, this is totally. It looks nice to look at. The lighting's nice. The track looks nice. The functionality of the driving is totally. You're not like, oh, I'm on the console and it feels like a massive downgrading gameplay experience. But of course, put your games consoles in the dustbin. We're going to have to go over to the real platform. The peasantry. Put the peasantry to one side. We'll go over now to the PC build. What graphics card do we have in this computer?
4080.
4080.
Yeah.
I thought it was warm in this room. I mean, if it was a 5090, we'd all be it'd be a sauna, and then you'd be happy. We got the button here just ready. Which button am I pushing?
Yeah, I need to do this.
So he's got to get the keyboard. It's the PC experience. But you can also tell as well with Rennsport the user interface. I mean, some people will say, oh, it's a negative, the sort of console user interfaces. I think it's a mixed bag. Like I definitely prefer, as a PC gamer, I definitely prefer the sort of mouse-focused interfaces. We've got a spooky ghost car there. I prefer the mouse-focused interfaces and all the options. It's a sort of PC gamer and sim gamer in me. You know, we love fiddling around with menus. But the nice thing is with console interfaces, don't really matter what game it is, when they're done well, you can just use the buttons on your steering wheel to navigate through everything, go through the settings, restart the race, select your options. I think, did you guys do a redesign of the user interface recently?
Yes, we changed the overall UI in the menus, and what we're running today here is the old UI in the HUD area, which has also been updated for launch, so it looks comparable to the rest of the game. So everything has like a fresh new coat on it.
So this is the same portion that was on the computer. But yeah, you can tell, so already on the PC version, this is running at native resolution, or maybe it's running DLAA on here. But so you can definitely see on the PC where you've got the extra power of a computer. Most importantly of all, the grass is rendered further into the distance, and it's a much crisper image. But again, it's the same gameplay. The actual comparable gameplay experience is just sharper graphics and a bit more detail that you get from a PC.
And we're also still in optimization phase, so we're still fine-tuning the consoles and making like all the last passes on the draw distance and how things actually work.
And you're going to put a gamer muscle spectator, like a bold man somewhere and every time you drive past the sun.
If you let us do a full body scan of you, we will figure something out.
A full body. We won't end up in the game. This will end up in Kim's private collection. But yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome. As I say, the main takeaway from this, and I think the most interesting part of Rennsport from my perspective and from a sort of general sim racing perspective, is having a title with the ranked online racing, with the crossplay, that everybody in the world can ruin their life with sim racing and ruin their life even if they're on a tighter budget. Are you also, have you had to do anything special for gamepad support for the console version?
So we have spent a lot of time developing the gamepad support to make sure it feels, we still want it to feel like a simulation, but you still need to be able to control it on a controller if that's your preferred method of input, and I think we managed to find a good way. We're also offering some assists that you would expect, like stability control and stuff like that, to further help the controller user. And on PlayStation 5 we have the full DualSense experience also with adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback and all of that stuff.
Nice. A lot of people be wondering, with the wheelbases, will there be like a bundle option with the wheelbases, maybe with Rennsport included?
We have had some talks about that. I have nothing to announce, but it might be.
Okay, so I think I was noticing with some of the other hardware manufacturers as well, and what RevoSim have done with their wheelbases is like the concept of being able to buy a wheel, pedals, maybe the sim rig as well, and a driving game, but just, as you guys know, it's sim racing. Most of our viewers, we've been sim racing for so long, you're just used to all the clutter and everything. But to get new people into it needs to be nice and simple.
And we spend a lot of time now actually doing the first time user experience. When you start the game for the first time, we help the user to set up whatever method of control they want to use. and then we take them onto the racetrack to test out the controls to make sure all the settings are fine before they jump into either single-player AI racing or multiplayer or whatever they choose to do after that. So we know that they have a good baseline going into the game.
And what sort of single player they're looking at getting?
So at launch we have what we call championships, which is basically an introduction to all the different cars and car classes. So you start in a BMW M2 Cup car, do a couple of races, and then you progress through faster cars, more advanced classes, and you end up in what we call the Rennsport World Tour, basically, where you drive multi-class races with hypercars and GT3s and all. Designed to teach you about the different car classes and then the different tracks in the game progressively, like getting you ready for multiplayer racing. Basically.
And that single player will be at launch with the console version as well.
Yeah.
And I think also people want to know, because previously you had a sort of somewhat free-to-play kind of model with Rennsport.
Yeah.
You're moving away from that.
Yes, we're moving away from that to a more traditional boxed experience for console. On PC, we still have what we call the free-to-enter version, which you can download off of Steam or Epic, and then you can drive a couple of things with the BMW M2 only. And then if you want to do more stuff, then you need to buy the full package.
So that will be presented in the game. They'll be able to just buy it, or would they have to buy it separately through Steam?
No, so they can buy what we call the base content pack, basically. That's a DLC pack with all the cars and all the tracks and everything.
Okay. And is there anything for people that have already bought into Rennsport, maybe bought content?
Yeah, so we just announced recently that anyone who's bought a Founders Pack with us in the early access period or spent any sort of money will get a free copy of the game at launch. And depending a bit on what kind of Founders Pack you bought, you might get a deluxe version of the game or the base version. But everybody who spent money will get rewarded somehow. So we launched with a base version and a deluxe version in Q4 this year. No date just yet. Will come very soon now, but we're not really ready today.
Okay, so Q4 launch.
Let's say before December, after September.
Okay, and you guys are going to be showing this off at Sim Racing Expo, maybe?
That's might happen, yeah.
Might happen. So you have to head over to Dortmund Sim Racing Expo, potentially to get a hands-on before it goes into release.
We still have a couple of things to, like we talked about now, the championship mode, for example, we never shown before, so we have a couple of more things to show to everybody before we launch, so we are excited to do that.
Okay, but of course the PC version is still there. If you wanted to demo it, you can jump on and try that for free.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go, guys. I think that's a good rundown of the state of Rennsport as it is now. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and thanks for taking the time to go through all that with us.
Anytime.
And of course, the most important thing is that you guys need to make a cup of tea and drink it, and you drink tea.
Absolutely.
It's beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good time. Take care, and goodbye.